Welcome to the Get Inspired with Gerd show, brought to you by Gerd's Handel. Join us each week to be inspired, informed and uplifted with some of the most inspirational and motivational guests from around the world. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay inspired.
Hello and welcome to Get Inspired with Gerds. I'm your host and today I have an inspirational guest with me on the show, who's kind of challenging the norms of traditional artwork through his inquisitive illustrations. Some of you guys might have figured out who this person is. He's personally an absolute inspiration to myself. I've been following his work, since 2012, and just the thought process behind what he has created is just unbelievable. The colours, the way the images are, and the way he's not afraid to just be his edgy self. And I think it's so important in this day and age that, guys, nothing will ever be perfect. No one will be ever perfect. And if you can see beauty in the imperfections, you will just be awesome at whatever you do in your life, whether you want to be a doctor, you want to be an artist, when you want to be a creative person, whether you want to something that people won't understand, and that's absolutely fine because this is your journey. You were born into this world for a reason and you need to follow that journey that you've been given and share that gift with the world. So guys, I'm not going to delay anymore. On the show I have the sensational Amandeep Singh, who's a talented artist. He's better known as Inkquisitive for his artwork and illustrations, and a lot of his thought processes is based on lots of things from Sikh warriors to hip-hop legends to tragedies that happen within society. And a few weeks ago, I had the absolute pleasure of meeting Inkquisitive at his first ever exhibition in London at the Mineur Gallery, and oh my gosh, I was just blown away. Guys, I just can't wait for you to hear this interview and just be inspired. Amandeep, it's an absolute pleasure having you on my radio show, and thank you for joining me.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
Oh no, bless you. It's been amazing being and just learning about yourself and reading your words as well. It's very inspirational, not only just the artwork but the words. And I wanted to ask you, where does that inspiration come from?
Well, firstly, thank you so much for the kind comments. I really appreciate that. You know what? The whole experience has been very overwhelming. I think in terms of the words, at a very young age, I felt when I was at school and art, I was somewhat bullied because, my teachers would make us do stuff with the art, and I felt like it's well and good doing the artwork, but we never were able to express ourselves. I was that little rebel that used to try expressing myself. But then obviously the teacher didn't like that. So I used to get detentions for doing stuff irregular.
I can relate.
Yeah. And then that led students to think I was doing things that weren't asked of me, and so they would laugh at it. So at a very young age, I started believing that, oh man, I'm expressing myself incorrectly. And that's what led me to feel bullied, because I felt I'm not meant to be expressing myself then. I'll not draw at all. My teacher actually told me art was never going to be for me, to be honest. She told me, you know what, you're not going to do it. She told my parents. You'll see it in the report card still. And I felt at that time I was challenged to actually realise that I am passionate about this and I want to pursue art as a career. So these thoughts and these words that you read and I always seen in my work is based on my experiences as a child growing up through uni, all the obstacles I face. And although, it's wonderful having this audience, I still face so many obstacles every day. And I do try writing in the best way I can. And I feel like everything is based on experience or a hurdle or an obstacle I faced in the past. And it's so great to know people can relate to it.
So you said that you were told that you shouldn't go down that route. What was it that pushed you towards it?
I don't know. I feel like art for me is a way of life. So once you see your passion as a way of life, it's not about wanting to do it. It's like, oh, I'm going to wake up and do it now. It's like blinking. It's like eating and drinking. You just don't think twice about it. You're like, well, this is a way of life for me. I'm going to go do this. And at the same time, I was challenged. I was like, well, you know what? Do I enjoy this enough to actually see where it goes? And clearly it is. I have the pleasure of being on this with you right now. So it's that overwhelming journey, and I'm really glad I actually challenged myself to actually realise that actually art is something that is really progressive for me, and I want to consider it and take it to a further level.
So when you said you went to university, what did you study then?
So I did my degree in graphic design and illustration. I only discovered illustration towards the third year of my course, which was my last year, which is then what led me to do my master's in illustration. And they were both so wonderful. I mean, the master's was a really tough experience there because it's a very independent subject. You don't get set projects, you make your projects. And I'm a children's illustrator, so I made 10 books, which was so exciting. And I haven't really even released them to the public yet, but it's a bit of a secret. 2016 is going to be exciting, so yes. Exclusive right there, by the way.
Bless you, my dear. And so today, what was the inspiration behind all the artwork today?
Yeah, no, wonderful question. Each piece chronologically was laid out because it was based on celebrating 5 years of doing this, and I can't believe it's been 5 years, to be honest. So in total, I've done about 600 illustrations in the last 5 years. So I wanted to showcase 40 pieces that meant something to me. For example, the first piece I'd done, which was the Barack Obama piece, that was on show, down to my most recent piece, which was about probably 2 weeks ago. So it was just showcasing what I've been doing the last 5 years, the things I've done, iconic moments, people I've illustrated, and the emotions I had behind it, which is what the words were. So it's just a celebration of the 5 years and how it's been an experience, and how, most importantly, my artwork has had an evolution, and seeing where I started with and how I've got it to what it is now.
Wow.
So it was a really interesting experience for myself, and also I hope it was for everyone else.
Oh, it was. I was blown by it.
Oh, I'm so
every
glad.
single piece. There was something I connected to in every single piece.
So kind of you to say. I'm so glad. Did you have a favourite?
I had a few.
Yeah?
I love the Aladdin one.
Oh, of course, yes.
Took me back to my childhood. There was also one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was very mystical, and it reminded me of what I'm doing. It's like purples and greens.
Might have been the panda one. Was there a panda in there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's called The Last Hug on the Moon. Actually, that's based on faith, that piece.
Love that piece.
There's a small rocket that's going up, kind of like saying sky's the limit and stuff like that.
And also there's lots of other ones as well, but I love like the Sikhi ones as well, because it's obviously I can relate to that.
Yeah, no,
And it's
certainly.
you feel the energy and like the power, the strength.
Well, that's
in
what I
them.
mean. I feel like it's so important. Like, we have such wonderful Sikh-related artwork, and I don't think that it should be a problem for artists to actually try having a different take on it. And I do have this graffiti-esque style on it, but again, with respect to the content, I try delivering it the best way I can, and I love it. 95% of what I produce is based on my dreams. So, even the Sikh-related ones are based on my dreams, and I try showcasing it the best way I can.
So would you say that your whole artwork is based on the thought process of like when you were growing up, what you went through? It's that journey?
Yeah, I would say that, because a lot of my pieces have a story within a story, and I feel like that's exactly what my life has been like. It's been about, well, for everyone, to be honest, but I do feel like moments and milestones in my life have been affected in a certain way for me to actually now pick up a paintbrush and say I'm going to somewhat put it in a piece, whether it's a colour based on anger, I might use a red, a colour based on being lonely, I might use a blue. So I actually showcase that in the best way I can. I don't always necessarily explain my work. At some point I might find the courage to do that, but at the same time I don't like to dictate too much, because I do think it's important for people to actually have their own take to it. So it's kind of a balance.
Would you say that the colours reflect your moods when you're creating it?
100%. And that's only because I feel colours have so much more symbolism than what we believe in. I feel like colours are everything. I mean, yellows, greens, blues, they all talk to us. And just like flowers, flowers are there, they grow, they bloom, they do wonderful things. I think colours are the same way when they blend and spread together. So most certainly.
Do you have a favourite one?
Yellow. I love yellow because I believe bright is beautiful. Yellow is my favourite colour, and it blends well with so many different colours, man. So for me, yellow is just my happy colour, as it would be being the sun and everything. So
What's your favourite art piece that was there today?
oh, that's like me picking one of my favourite children right now.
Do you have children? Something that you want to share?
Colourful children, yes. No, I would say my favourite piece is a piece called King Without a Crown. It's one of the Sikhi pieces that we've actually done in a very specific way, which I'm sure you saw, elevated in perspex. And that piece, because, growing up, my dad would tell me so many wonderful stories based on the Sikhi gurus and stuff. And that piece does explain what I said, story within a story. So it's like talking about Guru Gobind Singh Ji's struggle and having elements, and no matter what he was going through, his vision was always clear, which is why I shone a straight line going through his eyes. So
Wow.
it's a beautiful experience.
Jeez.
Producing that. Yeah.
I can understand where you're coming from with that.
No.
So you decide to follow your purpose, follow your dreams that you've always wanted to do. You must have had some low points in your life.
Oh, always, still do. Probably this morning when I was like, oh my God, I've got to set up an exhibition. No, there are times when you do read or see comments which are like, oh, art is, your art's all the same, try something new, or why are you doing CE card? There's already some out there, But again, that's just narrow-minded people. I feel at the same time, I'm not saying people have to appreciate the art I do. I feel like sometimes it's more important to say, I don't really understand your art so much. Can you explain it to me? Instead of, hey, it's all the same. Or, hey, Aman, have you tried using acrylics? Or have you tried using pastels? Or I love that kind of critical feedback. And again, I don't get it often, but when you do, it does make you think twice about, well, okay. But I always see it as a challenge. I feel like any negative you can convert into positive, and I think it's so important. Like comments like that are important. Low points in terms of experiences, it is honestly just, I would say it's not a specific thing that's happened, but what it does get to you sometimes is when you're traveling and you're touring, it does drain you a lot. At the same time, I'm a very family orientated person. Yeah, I'm a very family-orientated person, so I feel like I get to miss a lot of my family time, and I love spending time with my family, so, you know, currently in world tour, it's really difficult to be doing that, so not necessarily a low point, but can add up to that sometimes.
How did your parents react when you said to them, I want to be an artist? What was there?
Yeah, I mean, it was an experience. I mean, I feel like my parents always had an idea I was wanting to be creative, because I used to draw on the walls of my house at a very young age. My mum still got those little cutouts. Yeah, I used to draw on the walls of my house from a very young age, and then they always knew I was drawing, and I used to draw like random things like trains. But what I used to do, which was irregular, which my parents noticed, was I used to do things like paint the sky green and the ground yellow, doing really rebellious things like that. So they were like, oh, he's interesting. But at the same time, my dad he's very artistic. He does calligraphy, which is a form of art, and he plays the piano. As a child, I used to try doing the same thing, you know, trying to be like dad. So I really got flexible with my fingers, and I tried picking up paintbrushes and just doing what I could. And I feel like it's been a blessing by my father doing that. At the same time, my mum is really funny as well in hers, and so I use that wit and comical side to my art pieces sometimes. So actually addressing the fact that I want to get into art wasn't an issue until that whole question was, well, is it going to bring in the money? Are you going to be economical with it? How's that going to work? But
Or as the Americans say, they bring any dollars.
yeah, bring any dollars, yeah. But I feel what stole their hearts was the fact that they saw how passionate I was, because I did two things. There's two ways you can handle something. You can actually say, hey, mum and dad, I want to be an artist. Or you can say, mum and dad, I want to be an artist. This is what I've done. So when I started showing them things, they were like, oh, hang on a minute. He's actually really passionate about this. The first time I told my dad I wanted to become an illustrator, he was like, oh, architecture, wonderful. Because architecture is seen like the pinnacle of art and design, and it gets you the dollars. But my parents came to my first exhibition at university, like a uni exhibition, and they saw my work and they were blown away. And I'm so thankful, because a lot of the kids I grew up with, they're not doing that because they didn't really get support from their families. My mum and dad have supported me all the way, so it's been an experience.
Anyone who's trying to get into the kind of creative world or become an artist from an ethnic background, what would be your advice to them?
Key for me would be consistency. I mean, you only progress with consistency. I feel like I produce pieces Monday, Wednesday, Friday without fail. I don't do it for people, I do it for myself. If people love it, wonderful. If they don't, wonderful. It's not a problem. I pay for myself. And I'm sitting there with 600 illustrations because of that, you know. And it's crazy to think that. So consistency is one thing. And the other thing I would say is you only progress when you're outside your comfort zone. I used to hate traveling. I've just come back from my 8th tour. Wow. And I can't believe how things have been working. And that's what I mean. I've progressed. My career's progressed because I've decided to come out of that and feel like I'm going to change myself and I'm going to work with it. So consistency, coming out of your comfort zone, daring to be different, and believing in your imperfections. Not worrying about being perfect, you know, being spontaneous. So those are key things that have made me who I am.
It's really funny. People don't realise nothing will ever be perfect.
No way.
No one is perfect.
No, definitely not. Not even my tattoo. I have the imperfection is beauty upside down for a reason. So I have imperfection is beauty written here as an upside down tattoo because I strongly believe in it.
Wow. Absolutely love it. I totally can relate with you on the comfort zone thing, because even like myself personally, I've walked on fire, I've walked over glass.
Really?
And
I have to try that.
I've never done it in my life before, and I went to an event recently and they said, who wants to go up? I was like, yeah, me.
Yeah, for sure. I'd have joined you.
Even like the board chopping.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what's wrong with you? But it's because even though I was afraid inside, thinking, oh my God, what could happen to me? I thought, do you know what, if I don't do it now, I never will. And always think about it. And guys, that's one thing that's really important, is to realise that you've got to get out there and be passionate, and don't be afraid to do things that are different.
Certainly, I totally agree with you. I'm 100% with you, and exactly what you're saying. I would be doing the same thing if I was in that position, with me and you both walking on the grass.
You never know. In 2016,
down. We're gonna make it happen now.
Exactly.
We'll be doing the show. We'll be doing this live on the fire.
Yeah, we're having the interview on the fire, walking over glass as well. You know, and chopping bombs as you do.
So up for it.
Bless you, my dear. And also, I just wanted to ask you about who inspires you the most.
I get that question a lot, and I mean,
And what inspires you?
Yeah, I can sit here and give you like 10 main artists that inspire me, from Basquiat to Picasso and all sorts. But I feel like the most important thing is everything. I feel like everything inspires me. I feel like the second you start seeing everything around you as inspiration, it's so hard not to have a creative block. Like, I feel like...
Okay, so for example, we're sat in this hotel, it's beautiful scenery, lights, everything. What is inspiring you at the moment? Okay,
let me tell you something. We got a flame here, right? So imagine in that flame there's a wax, right? Now imagine the wax has parted, but imagine the two waxes are actually lovers, and they've actually broken up and they don't want to actually get back together. But what happens is there's more wax that melts and falls on one of them and actually then molds them together. There's a story on its own right there.
Wow.
You can find inspiration everywhere, from anything you see, from cracks in the pavements, from birds flying in the sky, from coffee stains on a mug. The other day there was a crack in the pavement, there were two ants, and I was thinking, imagine they're best friends and they're actually trying to think, how are they going to cross paths now? Like, are they going to be wise enough to actually go in front or not? Or stories out of everything is inspiration around us, man. We just need to open up our eyes. We try going to the library, we try going to the internet, we try going to each other for help, which is great, but sometimes the answer is just right there. We're like, I know what I need to do now. That's how I do my artwork. I make stories from everything.
I guess it's that we've all born with a gift and we just have to realise that gift.
Yeah.
And kind of ignore what everyone else is saying.
No,
Would you say that's the case with yourself, that you knew there was a gift inside, you didn't know how you were going to express it, but when it came out it just flowed?
No, most certainly. I feel like you do need to get to a level where you actually have an understanding of what you want to do, or find your calling. And I feel like that is my calling / gift. That's another word to put it. And once it was in full flow, it's in full flow. And now I know this is going to be me for the rest of my life, and I'm so glad to know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a hell of a journey for 5 years.
It really has. I can't believe it's been 5 years. But like I said, the best is yet to come. I'm no way near made it yet. And I'm just happy to know that I have what I do. You know, I have the support of my parents, I have the support of my friends, the support of a wonderful audience, I have the support of people like yourself allowing me to talk about my journey. So it's very kind, and it's very overwhelming.
What's the most defining point in your life to you so far?
I feel like, and I know it's funny me saying it's now, but it honestly is having my parents at my show right now. For me, you know, growing up, having your parents actually saying, you know, what's your career path, what do you want to do? And then finally having them be at an exhibition saying, Mum, Dad, this is what I want to do. This is it. So, you know, at past interviews, I have said it, you know, maybe having my parents at a show. So to know I'm doing it on the night of that is absolutely overwhelming for me. So that is it. Another defining point would be probably, you know, having people like my favourite artists actually reaching out to me, like J. Cole or Ice Cube or LL Cool J. So that is an overwhelming experience, man, for me, because growing up listening to them and then actually having a conversation with them about artwork is like, what? How's that happening? Fanboying. So it's an experience. And then, you know...
Fanboy or fangirl?
I fanboy like a fangirl and fangirl like a fanboy. So either one.
Bless you. And we are coming towards the end of the show. Just wanted to ask you, what are your plans for the future?
You know, I feel like the best way to put it is that I've never really planned any of this, and I don't think I have any chance of planning anything else. I feel like the second I start putting too many plans intact as to what I want to do, it's going to start getting destroyed. I mean, I do have my set goals, like releasing children's books. My clothing line is coming out soon.
Amazing. Tell me more.
No, I do actually have some really exciting clothing coming out. I mean, I have been getting a lot of interest from many people, and I think it's about time to actually evolutionize my artwork and actually see it on clothing. I just came back from my California tour and we did a sari out there, which was fantastic. So that is another thing I want to do. But again, like I said, I don't want to put too many plans onto what I want to do, because I feel like the second I do that, I'm going to devalue that moment. I didn't plan to do a London exhibition anytime soon for 5 years. Ask me this time in March, did I want to do this? No. I was going to just sit at home. Did I want to do a world tour? No, I didn't. I'm doing a world tour. I'm going somewhere else after this. So it's crazy.
Wow.
It's nuts.
Would you say it's really important to live in the present moment?
Oh, most certainly. Every second that's going by, it really is, honestly. I mean, with respect to what your blessings are and what experiences you've had in the past, you know, everything is a blessing and a burden at the same time. But living in the present is the most important thing for me. Well, as an artist, I mean, I respect everyone else's opinions, but mine would be just taking it for what it is. As it is.
And lastly, what are your 5 top tips for someone who's trying to follow their purpose but they're not sure where to start?
Okay. Again, number one of all will be the consistency aspect. The passion comes through the consistency. If you truly believe in something, you've got to be consistent about it. The second thing would be based on coming out your comfort zone. You only progress when you're out of your comfort zone. Third would be not worrying too much about your imperfections, not take it too much time to worry about how you look in the mirror, or how your artwork looks, or how your poetry looks, or how you're acting, or how you dance. Just going with the flow, enjoying the moment. You know, the more you think about something, the more you devalue that moment. So that will be my third one. So go with the flow. My fourth would be probably to take risks, dare to be different. I love that tagline because I think it's such a wonderful thing. Someone said to me the other day, was, oh man, it's such a risk doing Guru Nanak Dev Ji in blue eyes. Like, oh my God, that must have been a risk. And it really is. It really was. Like, it is a risk. I mean, it's a fragile topic, or, purposely putting teardrops over Guru Nanak Dev Ji's eyes. It's a risk, but that's what's helped me progress. So daring to be different. And my last one is what I said was imperfection is beauty. It's such a beautiful thing. Believe in your imperfections. They are that make you who you are. So those 5 things have helped progress me, and that's because I'm an artist. So I feel like those are my progressions. But consistency is probably the number one of all, because that touches up on everything. And
is there anything you'd like to add to the listeners out there?
In terms of
from a creative world, just.
Yeah, no, honestly, just believe in what you're doing. You're not a society, you're not a people pleaser, you're doing things for yourself. And I think the second you start realizing that, that's the second you start becoming exactly who you want to be.
Perfect. And where can my listeners find you?
So you can find me online at Inkquisitive. All you need to do is type in Inkquisitive. That's INKQUISITIVE. I'm on all social media, and my website is inquisitive.com.
And where are you going next?
Oh, I'm not allowed to say too many things right now, but I mean, to be honest, a few things are being confirmed up. I would say it will probably be towards North America again.
Okay. Any events coming back in the UK in 2015?
I'm actually planning to do something with Amit Channa in Watford Palace. We're doing some British arts industry night, which is going to be fantastic. So it's a nice follow-up to this event. So it's going to be really exciting to have some artwork out there.
Amazing. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having the show, and thank you for inviting me as well.
No, honestly, the pleasure is mine. Like I said, we as artists can keep performing and putting artwork out, but we always need a platform to actually allow us to actually elaborate on what we do. So this is a perfect example. So thank you for having me.
Bless you. Well, we'll definitely be having you on the show very soon.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care.
Wow, what an amazing interview with Amandeep Singh, aka Inkquisitive. I was absolutely blown away by his work at the exhibition. And do you know what? I actually learned a lot about myself. Look through each artwork, there was something that I connected with, and there was something that reminded me of why it's so important to just be yourself. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You can achieve anything if you put your mindset to it. If you want to be an artist, you go out and be an artist. If you want to be a doctor, go out and be a doctor. If you just want to just do something that's not even that big, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're passionate about, just go out and do it, because we all have a unique gift and we must share that gift with the world. And at the end of the day, all of you guys, we are powerful. Whatever we want to achieve, we just have to put our mindset to it and just embrace the journey, no matter what happens. There will be hurdles. There will be times where you just think, what the hell am I doing? And, even through my own personal journey, I've been through that and I can totally understand. But just get out there, because life is too short, and just do what you love. So Amandeep, thank you for just allowing me to be there and just embrace that inspiration that you've given all of us, and also people that came down to the exhibition as well, because you're a beautiful soul, and just keep up the amazing work. Unfortunately, it is the end of the show. Just before I head off, don't forget that you can find me on Twitter at IamGurds, that's IAMGURDS. You can find me on Facebook at Get Inspired with Gurds, where I bring you lots of inspirational and motivational quotes, but also videos and share other content that will help you to transform your life around and to follow your purpose. And also you can check out my book on Amazon called Educo, which is EDUCO, and it's 52 quotes for leading a better life. And this week I wanted to leave you guys with this quote: follow your passion, be prepared to work hard and sacrifice, and above all, don't let anyone limit your dreams, because you are amazing. Take care guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Ciao!
Join us each week to be inspired, informed and uplifted with some of the most inspirational and motivational guests from around the world. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay inspired.